all right. Want to say welcome to it. This is Everyday Lessons now, and we are back. A fresh week, fresh vibe, and new
Yes.
start. And want to welcome Dr. Amala. She's always here on
Thank
time,
you.
unlike
Thank
me.
you.
I'm always rushing, and that's not going to be the case. I promise you guys. For the balance of 2022, I'm going to be here calm, collective. It wouldn't feel rushed. It wouldn't be like I'm out of breath. I'll be here ready to do this for you guys. All right.
Don't forget, I'm here and I can tell them whether or not you're achieving that goal.
So,
Yes.
I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope all is well with you on your end.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I had I would say an excellent weekend. So, I'm trying to get past just fine. I'm practicing what I preach. I'm making sure that I expand my emotional vocabulary. So my weekend was excellent.
Nice. Good to know.
Yes.
And we also have to practice that when we ask somebody something, we should give them the opportunity to respond. Don't just say,
Absolutely.
hey, how you going? And just keep it pushing.
Move on.
Move
Yeah,
on.
no.
Ask. If you're asking it, it's because you really want to get an answer. You want to know how somebody's going. And you should be invested to know exactly how they're going. If you're not, try not to ask them. Just keep it.
Right, exactly.
That's fine. That's
Because
also
how
good.
you doing is not a greeting. I mean, you could say hello and wave.
Yeah.
And then go.
Stick to hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stick to once you're asking how you're going, you should have the
Listen.
respect to listen for the answer. So I myself trying to practice that a little bit more as well.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
with that being said, we're back, and what are we talking about this week?
So today we're going to do some more of Unpack That, because we did say we would do it for like 2 or 3 episodes. So we're going to go with the questions. They could be tough questions, reflection, the good or the bad. So we're going to do tough questions today. So tough question is, what are you still trying to prove to yourself?
For me, I would say I'm still trying to succeed. I'm still trying to finish because I might have a list. There's some things that I really want to prove to myself still. But one of the most important ones, I think, is listen. The fact that I can listen. I've struggled with listening for years. But recently, over the past couple of years, I've figured out that you have to learn to listen actively and not just listen to answer. We preach it all the time, but I really stumbled. That is a new teaching that I recently stumbled upon. If I'm being transparent and I'm being honest, I did not always do it. I know for a fact, and now when I hear, like when I'm listening to people, I can feel the difference because I listen to them and I absorb the things they're saying and I process it while they're speaking, and I can actually, it's like I'm hearing it and it goes in a different pocket in my brain. So that's why I know for sure I'm not just there listening to answer them. I'm never hasty to give a response, even if somebody is critiquing or saying something that I might not agree with. I make it my business now to listen actively. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Okay, fantastic. So for me, I actually want to prove to myself that I could finish well. I mean, there are a number of things that I finished, but there's still things that I think I could end the race doing well. So I'm working on those things. So that's it for me. I need to prove to myself that I could finish well, and not just finish, because sometimes you do some things and they're mediocre. So finishing well. So finishing well for me involves some more writing, some teaching stuff. And in different formats, because now we're not just, of the age when mommy was a teacher, so it needs to be done differently. So it is in my list of things to do to finish well. So that's the main thing that I'm trying to prove to myself at this point. All right. So second tough question is, what is a dream you have to let go of? That's interesting. This is a good one.
Being Diego Maradona. It's never gonna happen.
Okay.
It's never gonna happen.
But this is half. So like in present continuous.
In present.
Were you still trying?
Oh, hell's to the no. Hell's to the no.
Exactly. So you have let go of that one from the past. So like, what is something now you think?
If I'm being honest, it might sound okay. I think I'm living my dream.
Okay.
So I do think there's none to let go. I really just want to continue I want to continue formulating it.
The dream life.
Yeah, I want to continue formulating it, and yeah, and perfecting some aspects of it. But why I say I'm living my dream is because I was fortunate, as I've said it on different platforms. I'm fortunate to the fact that I felt as though I knew what I wanted from an early age. I remember that.
And
It's in the book. It's in the book. When I pressed that bell in the maxi, in that moment,
Yep.
I knew, because that could have been
That
my
wasn't
life.
it.
That could
Yeah.
have been my life. If we're being
Absolutely.
honest, that could have been my life.
Yeah,
My life
yeah.
could have been
Very
totally
true.
different. In that moment, when I pressed that bell, and I always go back to that time sometimes,
Yeah,
Sometimes when I was
yeah.
suffering depression, I remember saying, I should have just stayed in Maxi. Because in my mind, I would have had
There was a sense of surety.
I would have a surety job. I might not have been struggling because as a creative, you have to figure out how am I going to pay bills
Yeah.
and da, da, da. At
Yeah.
least with that, I would have a sure job. That's how I looked at it. But really and truly, that's not the case.
That was
So
not
yeah,
the
I don't think I have a dream to let go of. I think I'm living mine, and what I might have to do is face the reality of my dream.
Okay. All right. Yes.
And the reality is the aspects of it that I would not get. Because for many different reasons, age, life, responsibilities, there are parts of it, but I can't see that because there are parts of it that I really enjoyed. Like I was fortunate, so I can't say there's nothing to let go of my dream. I think I might just have to rethink the dream moving forward.
Okay. Okay. I don't know that I have a dream that I would let go of, because I think that I am a pretty realistic person and I plan well and so on. And I still have things that are on my list of things to do. And even though some of my friends are not interested in doing Machu Picchu and going to see the pyramids and Stonehenge and, my big rocks, as they like to call them, those things are still on my list. Those things are still dream
And
things.
some,
I'm
for
not
some
letting go of
strange
them yet.
reason, I'm thinking within the next 10 to 15 months, one of those things are going to get scratched off.
I will check something off that.
I'm just
Yeah.
sensing that. I don't know. I'm putting it out there
So
for you.
right now,
But I'm sensing in the next
have a
15
dream.
months that could happen.
Yeah. I think that was easier than, that to me, that wasn't really tough because of how I structure my life. So that one wasn't really a tough one. And it's not like I wanted to be
it could be very
a
tough for somebody else.
ballerina.
Yeah.
And then, or something like that. Because, that would have been
Or
sad.
it's not like you want to be a rock star. You're like 52 and you're still in a grunge band.
Struggling. Yeah, exactly.
Don't know how to pay rent.
You know what was interesting? I saw Keith Richards, who is a vocalist and guitarist for the Stones, actually, Rolling Stones. And he, when Mick Jagger left to do his solo project, he said he had no idea who he was outside of Mick Jagger being there to be like a co-front man.
Right.
I was like, what? Because, you look at the success of the Rolling Stones and he has done so much and he was lost. And that to me was like, wow. And he is like 78 years old, I think. So now that they're back on the road and they're rehearsing for this project and whatever. And I listened to that and I'm like, wow, because he has been so successful. The Rolling Stones they're huge. So, to hear somebody in that band say, well, I didn't know who I was without Mick Jagger. I was like, no,
Crazy.
wow. So yeah, that was quite interesting. All right. The next question is, who are you closest to in life and why? This is interesting. I don't think it's tough, but it's interesting.
That's not a tough question. I'm
It's not.
close to a few people, I think. Because life is such a weird thing. Everybody has a role. Like I would
If you
think,
plan it properly, though.
I would think like in the latter half of my life, I was closest to my dad. In the leading up to his death.
Right.
And our relationship has a unique twist where there are things about each other that we know. So I will consider me close to you, but in a different capacity to my sister, who was when I got married was my best man, who I'm still very close with. You understand? Who I share everything with. If something happens, that is like, all right, put it this way, my emergency contact is her. My children emergency contact is her, and they have mothers.
Right.
If that makes any sense. If the school
Yeah.
don't get me, they call her immediately. And
Yeah.
there are many times the school call and say, "Your mommy," and she's like, "No, I'm auntie," and they like, "Rrr? So why you calling you another man?" And
Right.
it was a bad habit
How
of
it
mine.
is.
Again, that's just how it was
Yeah.
structured. And they never complain because she steps up all the time. She's never failed me, never. So I don't think that's a hard question. I think that
But can you imagine how it could be hard for other people though?
Of
Because I'm
courth.
tking now
Of
how
course.
this could be like,
And the
wow,
question
so
before
that's
too
better
could
than
be
you.
hard for somebody else. That
Absolutely.
dream question, because
Absolutely.
look like the guy who you know describe. If you told him no, yeah, he was lost and he was so successful.
Exactly.
So think about a young musician
Yeah.
who get over that 40 threshold, realizing that you're 45 and you never made it. Like somebody who in our world of the Caribbean who's never made a soca monarch, but you've been singing for 15 years.
All these years, exactly. Yep.
It's
Yep.
like, and you never even made one soca monarch.
Right.
And then you see people coming after you year in, year out, and
And
they
make it
making
look like
finals
breeze.
and make it look
Yep.
like it's nothing. And you who been diligently every year
Toiling.
recording, paying for production. You know, coming to think about it, I can call a couple names who have seen that happen too. Who have
Yeah, I can think of people too.
who have just reached they never made had that big break.
And it's not like they've been mediocre, because I think consistency is what makes you get over that threshold sometimes. But it's just how the winds blow, because I listened the other day to Private Ryan talking about where like the trajectory of the music, and he was amazed that we had taken horns out of the music. And I say we because I speak for the Caribbean. So we had taken horns out of the music, and then now you had a song like Voices Out and Bad that actually had live music and live instrumentation. So he's waiting to see how next year would look, because we kind of look back a little and then go forward. So that was interesting to hear. So but yeah, if I had to say who I'm closest to, I'm close to Daddy. I tell him a lot of things. I'm also close to you. I tell you a lot of things. And in terms of emergency contact, Travon is my emergency contact now.
Right.
So I'm kind of happy he's back in the US, because that would be odd if I had an emergency and he couldn't answer, because he answers his phone all the time.
And not only that, you remember. Anyways, we can't talk that on a public platform. I still believe he works in the CIA, but
Moving on.
That's my personal.
Carry on. What is the saddest moment you have ever been through in life?
Wow.
And I'm trying to think of it while I'm asking, because I'm like, saddest.
I've been through a couple.
Okay.
I'm not talking emotional breakup thing, girl things like that. One a sad moment for me was seeing Miliana. She came premature and not having any control of what's happening. The first 48 hours when it was like touch and go. That was sad because it was a shock. It was because it was an illness. That was, I guess that was God, because nobody knew her mom wasn't sick. It wasn't a case of like it was like a bad pregnancy, so you were from the beginning you were bedridden, so you kind of hoping and you don't know where it could turn. Everything was fine up until one Friday. It was one Monday morning, out of the blue. It happened. It went from, and I'm talking about, she was literally going to work. She wasn't sick, she wasn't ill, nothing was wrong with her. She just passed to tell her doctor thank you and pick up a fit to fly letter. That's exactly what it was. It was just a fit to fly, and boom, child came. An hour and 45 minutes later in that moment. So nobody was prepared for child, for nothing.
Right.
So seeing her in the incubator and the touch and go period, that I said that was sad. That was sad for me. And my dad passing wasn't sad because I was prepared. I think I was the most prepared. And one of the things I remember, that was actually a happy moment for me, because all I can remember is him saying his job is fulfilled, because he always believed that a man's role is to prepare his children for his departure. And he think he had prepared me well, and I was in good spirits.
Okay.
So he was happy to say bye. So I don't think that was a sad moment. That was really a happy moment. Because I could say, and I was happy too, because he had the opportunity to see all his grandchildren.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not one of them cases where you're sad because somebody's
Things were
pregnant
left
and,
out.
and things were
Yeah.
left out, and if only if, and it had no ifs. And that night, the night before he died, it was even a great night because he was with all his children the night. He was, my sisters was on a Zoom, and the two grandchildren were in the space. The three grandchildren were in his space, and we were all joking and having a good time. And it was, the energy was there because he wasn't sick. He didn't complain about being sick or anything.
Okay,
but the energy of the room felt like it was a goodbye
Like the
energy.
last.
It was a last
Okay.
energy. And then when he said, "Hey, I'll take off the light for me now. I'm gonna take a rest." My mom was the only person who said, "I don't like how he sung, and I didn't like how he was looking while he was talking to her." And she had asked me not to leave. Don't go to work. Come back and check him in the morning. And I was like, "Nah, he good, man." And so said, but she knew, she had the spirit. So by the time I got to work, bam, got the call. So one time I saw my phone ring, I knew he passed. So yeah.
Okay. For me, I think the saddest moment for me was when I was not able to go to A level in St. Lucia because I had not done CXC in St. Lucia. I was 15 at the time, and they thought that I was too young and whatever. And I remember mommy being there and arguing, saying, "But this is a regional exam though. So she's done a regional exam. Like, what is the qualification to get into this school?" And I, in that moment, just asked her if I could just do 2 A-level subjects, like privately. So I started doing A-level French and A-level sociology. And I said I would do it for a year, and then by the next year I would have been 16 and I could get in. And during that year, I decided that I didn't want to do that again. And I went to do business studies instead of A-level. But it was sad for me because that was one point, or probably the first point, where I realized that we're not all equal, you know? And even though we were in the Caribbean, and mommy kept arguing, but this is a regional exam though. This is a regional exam. It doesn't matter where she sat it, you know? And I saw my mother fighting until she couldn't fight anymore, because someone who thought that they were doing the best thing, they were doing their job, just said, no, she can't get in. And I had all the qualifications. And it was very competitive and whatever, but if you have your CXC subjects, that's how you get in.
Right.
So, you know, and then cut to how many ever years later, when Trevon went to A-level, he was 15. But he wrote CXC in St. Lucia.
Oh, okay.
And I said to mommy, I said, do you remember how many ever years ago when I could not get in? I said, Trevon is the same age right now. And, you know, but nothing, because he had gone to St. Mary's College, and it was just like a rite of passage.
Yeah, and he's a boy, and it's a boys club, and when I mean boys club, meaning the order
Possibly.
of the order
Possibly,
of things. The
but-
order of things is that
Yeah.
he went to that school. He
Yes.
did what they
Expected.
looked exactly.
Yeah.
Who are you
Yeah,
to
yeah.
come with your passes from wherever you get?
Yeah.
I want to come in our school. No,
Right.
man. And that's
Yeah,
still happening
exactly.
today, you know.
Absolutely.
It's still happening today.
And so for me, that's defining, because it sort of changed the trajectory of my life. Because had I gone to A levels and I had done whatever subjects I wanted to do at the time, French and sociology and maybe English, what if I had done that?
Be thankful.
Then,
Be
you know,
grateful.
no. But I'm saying it's defining, but
Yeah.
it's sad, because as a teenager, that could have ruined my life. But I made a decision in that moment, you know, like, okay, I wouldn't just stay home for a year, because that's kind of what it meant. I would have to stay home for a year. And I had, remember, up until this time, I had been a student all my life. Like, what do you mean I can't go back to school?
I'm
And
happy that you didn't do it.
me too. And I try to discourage people from going to A level right now, because I think it's 2 years that you waste. I say that
No,
publicly.
I know
all the
you
time.
say it publicly all the time, but I'm not talking about the A-level part. I'm glad you didn't do it there, because doing A-level there, if you go back, you might have ended up, because you did sociology and physics and French, you might have been a secondary school teacher in Guyana or St.
We
Lucia.
didn't know this was in Lucia yet.
In St. Lucia. Who wants?
Possibly, who knows?
No, we don't want that Amala. We want Dr. Amala, the author, the soca lover, not the French teacher in St. Lucia. We're not benefiting from that at all. We want everyday lessons. So this would have never happened, because no French teacher,
Probably not.
no French teacher would be on this platform here right now.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. So I it was sad in the moment, and it has been very defining. I mean, you know, so up until now, I think of that as like the saddest thing that happened. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So here what we're gonna do. Guys, we're coming to the end of this episode, but we're gonna give you part 2 of this. We are not gonna stop, but you will have to wait until next week to see the part 2. All right. So we are gonna stay right here and continue. But for now, credits are gonna roll, and you're gonna catch us
See
on
you in the next one.
the next
Exactly.
one. All right.
Yep.
Stop.